Welcome back, Mortal Kombat fans, to another episode of Face Yourself. With Syzoth being revealed at Evil, and for those that don't already know, Syzoth is Reptile's real name. His character seems to be completely overhauled in a new era. Thus, I felt like it was an appropriate time to talk about Syzoth in this episode. They really made him awesome in the trailer. He was funny, serious, smart. Not to mention his new look looks super clean. I'm glad they took a different route when it comes to the costumes from the likes of Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Smoke, because they all seem to have like a very similar costumes outside the mask. But let's dive right into the green reptilian ninja, Reptile. Reptile made his first appearance in Mortal Kombat as a secret character, being a fusion of both Scorpion and Sub-Zero, hence why he uses both moves. You would be able to fight him if, on the pit stage, a flying shadow kick flew across the moon. You would have to get 2 flawless victories, a fatality, and you couldn't have blocked throughout the entire match. After fatality, you hear a noise go off, and green lights pop on the screen, then you fight Reptile, even though it says Scorpion. You get teleported to the bottom of the pit, and if you win, you get 10 million points. His Mortal Kombat 2 character finally makes his playable debut, becoming a part of the roster. He wore a traditional ninja garb for the first time. His outfit was a black and green garb with the ski mask. The entire costume was updated with new textures as well. Funny enough, Jade takes his role as a secret character in this game. He basically was a power swap Scorpion. But anyways, leading into Mortal Kombat 3, the costume gets updated yet again. Reptile looks like a palette swap of Scorpion and a classic Sub-Zero, except all the yellow and blue parts are obviously going to be switched to green, because at that time, all the ninjas and female ninjas were just palette swaps of each other. Mortal Kombat 4 was the first time we would see Reptile go under a drastic change. Going away from his human palette swap, he now is a humanoid lizard. Personally, I didn't really like the reptilian form, especially his outfit. His outfit, like, I feel like maybe the reptilian form could have been saved if the outfit was better. Like, he loses all the green parts, which I thought was a bad choice at the time, and he has some kind of faceless mask, but like I don't really understand what that was about. Like, it just looked weird. Like, I don't know if it was just me. Like, the mask it just didn't look like it belonged, you know what I mean? But anyways, like, he wore a black v-neck, a v-vest, like, that was it. I guess they took inspiration from his Mortal Kombat 3 and 2 skin. But anyways, like, he also had gauntlets with like silver and white, and he now wears purple pants, which, if I'm being honest, doesn't really make sense, because like purple is more of a range look, and you know, I just thought that was very weird that they gave him the purple pants. But anyways, he wears like black and silver thigh high boots as well. Luckily, there was a way to unlock a palette swap version of Scorpion's outfit. The only difference was he would still have his lizard skin, which, if I'm being honest, like, I really didn't mind that, and I was kind of glad that there was a way to bring Reptile's skin. In Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, he goes through yet another major change, becoming full-on lizard at this point. Fangs, claws, and his lizard tongue. He also wears the V vest again, but it's been updated. He wears gold and black pauldrons. He also rocks black and gold elbow guards and knee guards. And he also has silver and gold shin guards. Honestly, the whole outfit had a lot of different colors, but overall, I felt it came together pretty nicely. Outside of his head looked mad small in the outfit. Honestly, I like the outfit. Just like Reptile's body, it just looked weird. His head I feel like was just too small for the entire thing. Like, honestly, this is probably like my second least favorite Reptile design, behind Mortal Kombat 4 Reptile. But moving on to Mortal Kombat Deception, Reptile was possessed by the Dragon King Onaga. We can actually see this happen in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance ending, so he doesn't have a new outfit in Deception.
The tiny dragon stretched and the egg cracked. A beam of energy ripped out from inside and lanced into Reptile. His world was filled with a roaring power as his squamous body was twisted and transformed. The ancient prophecy had been fulfilled. The Dragon King had returned.
Here's where things get a bit confusing, because moving on to Mortal Kombat Armageddon, I don't think they ever clarified why that the Dragon King is playable in the game, and Reptile is playable in the game, because they share the same body. So maybe they just want to include everything and just thought people wouldn't care much or whatever. But I just always thought it was weird that we saw both of them at the same time, unless like they somehow split apart like through some kind of magic spell or something like that. But anyways, like the Mortal Kombat Armageddon uses the actual Shaolin monks design. So he wears a black wrap around his entire head, besides the mouth and the eyes. It looks like they took inspiration from his Mortal Kombat 4 alternate outfit. He's back in green and black with some gold trimming, and on his knees and shoulder pads, and also throughout the outfit he wears black and black pants and black undershirt. He looks like a mix of honestly like Mortal Kombat 4 and Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. In terms of Reptile's look, the serpent gold belt also returns from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. His fangs and claws are also back, but not to mention he wears a black wrap on his arm, similar to like how Johnny Cage has the white wraps on his arm. He wears the same thing, but they're black. I feel like the design is very well done to express his reptilian heritage. I feel like this is like, I kind of like this design a lot. I mean, it's not like the top 2 designs for me, but I definitely feel like this was a good change from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. So continue on with Mortal Kombat 9. Reptile makes another return in the soft reset of this timeline. He doesn't wear any disguise from the beginning. I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't really like his lizard form. He just looks super ugly. His face just looks like a mix of human and lizard. I feel like they could have gone straight lizard if they were gonna go this route. Like they could have really just built upon Deadly Alliance and just really made a solid like lizard character, but I don't know, like his face just looked weird, like when especially when you see his teeth and tongue outside of the mask. Syzoth also wears one shoulder pad and some kind of green and black chest plate that connects to a singular shoulder pad. Honestly, this looks more like a female female breastplate, but I'm not judging. He also wears green pants and like bronze shin pads and gauntlets. I do like that they brought the claws back, but I'm gonna be honest, I love the MK2 version of Reptile's outfit and Mortal Kombat 9 than his new outfit. Like Reptile is like Mortal Kombat 2 outfit that came, I think, was it Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3? I forget, but one of those outfits from Mortal Kombat 9, I would just use that one. I would use the human form. I would never use the Reptile form because to me it just didn't look good. Like that's probably like, I don't know, I think Deadly Alliance and that one is pretty much tied. But anyways, so let's talk about Mortal Kombat X. Syzoth's outfit was awesome, honestly. This is my favorite version of the Reptile form for the Mortal Kombat games. They did it extremely well into like, I feel like they leaned really heavily into the reptilian kind of outfit. So now the V vest has like, they have like these teeth that was sticking out. Like I thought that was really awesome, especially, and then they added bicep pads. They bring back his black pants and now he wears silver plated shin guards. I also love the new mask that seems attached to his mouth, so now he can talk and spit freely. Honestly, it's probably my favorite designer out of all the ninjas because like it just works so well. It was like, I don't know if you ever like played Halo and then the Combat Elite, how their helmet like goes with their lips and they can move their lips freely. Like I feel like this made perfect sense, especially considering like Reptile, so he uses all his moves most of them come from his mouth, so it just made perfect sense for them to do this. So honestly, this is probably my favorite Reptile design, like for the Reptile forms at least. So in Mortal Kombat 11 he didn't appear in the roster or the story, but he did appear in the crypt in his MKS costume. I was surprised he didn't make it to MK11, especially since both Shao Kahn and Shang was in the game. They were both masters he served, so it was very odd that they didn't bring him back in this game, but it's fine. It's not the worst thing that they've done. So then there's the Mortal Kombat 1 reveal trailer. Boy, did he got such a glow up, I think, out of all the characters in the new timeline. Like this is honestly my favorite version of Reptile, I'm not gonna lie. He just looks so good in this game. He wears a hood over his head that connects into his V vest. He has also like these scale pauldrons that are overlapped by the V vest. He also wears like some kind of red ribbon on his left arm. I wonder if that has some kind of significance, maybe with one of the reptilians. Like, I don't know, maybe he got that from somebody close to him or something. I don't know, like hopefully, like, I mean, it might just be nothing and I might just be reaching on this, but maybe it has some kind of significance But anyways, one thing I thought that was kind of cool was that Reptile has some kind of serpent that tattoo that envelops throughout both arms and his face. He also wears like a green sash across his body that connects with his belt, and he wears some kind of keys on his belt, maybe implying that he was an Outworld jailer that joined Liu Kang. His black pants make a comeback, and he trades out the boots for some kind of open-toe boots. The new gauntlets look fire as well, being silver and black with fingerless gloves. His mask looks a lot more traditional than the other ninjas, made entirely of cloth it looks like, rather than metal like the Lin Kuei ninjas. I like how like they're made a point to make the Lin Kuei ninjas like outfits different from the other ninjas. Like I like that they're not all just palette swaps in this one, because like if you look at Smoke and you look at Scorpion and then you look at Sub-Zero, all of them, they all look exactly like, except for like the mask. I think it's the only difference between the outfits. So I guess they kept that what you call it thing going the same, but I'm glad that Reptile is not a part of that. But I gotta say, this is probably his best outfit he's ever had out of all of the Mortal Kombat games. Like his glow up was just insane. That about covers it for the costumes. Like I can't wait to get my hands on Mortal Kombat 1. Like I've never really been a huge Reptile player, but I've played some in Mortal Kombat 9 and MKX, so I'm really interested to see like how his playstyle like comes in and how well it looks when we get our hands on the game. Okay, so moving on to his abilities. Now there's no breakdown of Reptile, so we'll be using the bandage trailer to try and guess what his new special moves are. But before we jump in, one really dope thing that I saw from Reptile's new reveal: all his toxic abilities, in order for him to use them, he turns back into his Zatara form to use them. And seeing as his Reptile form and his human form are both being used, I feel like this is great for all Syzoth fans, especially like whether you're on the side of him being Reptile or side of him being human. I feel like them doing both like kind of satisfy everybody, even though I feel like people probably won't really care for his new Reptile form, but at the same time, like he's a giant freaking he's a lizard person, so like they're not gonna wear clothes or anything like that. He's just gonna be in like his bare lizard outfit. Like it's not gonna have anything too crazy, so I feel like them going with a more primitive route with Reptile, I feel like it was the best bet for the lizard form. But anyways, I'm going off track. But so let's start off with his Reptile dash. It's back. We didn't see exactly how it works since it was blocked every time, and I don't think there was a time where he enhanced it. So unfortunately we didn't get to see exactly what it does, but the dash is definitely back. The acid ball also makes a return, and it's big as hell. Like you already like seen it being used in a combo, so and I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting heavy MK9 vibes from just a little bit of combos that I saw from Reptile. The next ability is a new ability. He slides down, grabbing the opponent with his mouth. He does like a twisting tornado, and then he slams him on the ground. Continuing on, another new ability he has is like he leaps at the opponent, slamming them to the ground, popping them up. Then also we saw another. I don't think this is a new ability. I think he's had Acid Stream before, but this is gonna be like, you know, it looks really cool. I'm sure if you enhance it, maybe even does like some kind of stun or like some kind of like damage over time, like DOT. I'm hoping for that. That'd be cool, because like, you know, it's acid, so acid should be like a burn type damage of some kind. His fatal blow looks very similar to that special move that pops you up. I can see this being confusing for players, especially like, you know, if you're looking out for the fatal blow and he maybe fakes you out with the regular hit and then does the fatal blow. Like it could be kind of confusing, so I guess they're gonna have little keys to tell, so you can see if it's gonna be the fatal blow or if it's gonna be the other move. Like it looks very similar. Like I feel like you could definitely tell which move it is, but like you gotta keep your eye out because the move is like very similar to each other. The gameplay reveal did give us a good chunk of his abilities, but I'm sure there's a few that we didn't get during the reveal trailer, and hopefully like maybe during the combat cast they speak on like his new abilities and stuff like that. So I hope that's the case, or at least his Li Mei or one of the other new characters that they're bringing out. But that about covers it for the special abilities. I'm sorry I couldn't get more, but it was such a limited amount of footage for Reptile's abilities. I feel like this is like the best we got, and honestly we got a good chunk of the abilities from this trailer, so I'm not super mad at it. Okay, so this section I just want to kind of like go over some information about the Saurians and the Zatarians. So for those of you that don't know, Syzoth's people were actually were Saurians, and his ancestors migrated to the Zatarian realm. Initially, the Saurians were part of the Earth realm originally, but was forced to leave because of a catastrophic battle between Raiden and Shinnok's forces. I think the battle that they're referring to was the one where Shinnok was originally trapped in the medallion after he rebelled against the other elder gods for the first time. Upon leaving Earthrealm, they found a new home, Zatara, which, if we're going by Mortal Kombat Conquest, it is depicted as always raining and thundering. Many transparent saurians can be seen crawling along the limbs of the tree. We also can see broken statues and ancient ruins that litter the realm.
We've seen Shao Kahn's wrath.
Zatara was conquered through Mortal Kombat millions of years before the 9th Mortal Kombat tournament, but for some reason, the Zatara's people kept the records of the existence of the Saurians before they were annexed by Outworld. I kind of found it odd why the vampires recorded this history, because maybe, I don't know, maybe they wish to use it to defend their home, although we know that the vampire people also fell, so maybe that's not why. But anyways, the non-Saurians also seem to retain no memories of their homeworld. So this is basically the modern day Saurians. They don't know their home. So I'm guessing that the Zatarians were conquered millions of years ago, and that the new offspring, they don't know their home. Which I think is very odd, because like I think the reptilian race are very, very old, because in the Mortal Kombat wiki it talks about Reptile being tens of thousands of years old, or even millions of years old. But like, I don't know, maybe he knows about Zatara from like maybe they have some kind of history books that their people keep. But anyways, going by Mortal Kombat's wiki, we find out that Zatara was the home to the Reptile's race of Saurians, who originated from Earthrealm long before it was annexed by Outworld, through 10 consecutive Mortal Kombat victories. There used to be the Zatarians were ruled by a matriarch. Her influence on the other members of the Saurian race is so strong that over time they began to revert back to a more primitive consciousness the longer they were separated from her presence, which also affects their ability to maintain the humanoid appearance. In Mortal Kombat Conquest, however, a former soldier Reptile says that Zatara wasn't destroyed because Shao Kahn wasn't destroyed because Shao Kahn came to the realization that the Saurians would make wonderful allies in his plan. Now, this leads me to believe that Reptile may have some kind of blood with the matriarch, and that's why he's able to keep his human form. Now, if you go by Mortal Kombat 4 Reptile's ending, apparently at some point Shao Kahn changes his mind and decides to destroy the Saurians. Because like, and during Mortal Kombat 4, it just seems like all the Saurians are dead besides him. Like, we don't see any of the other Saurians, even though like later on we find out in Armageddon, like we see Chameleon, both the Chameleons are alive. But anyways, Conquest isn't canon, so although it followed the lore of the games very closely, Zatara probably was destroyed right from the Mortal Kombat 10 tournaments. But then again, we see some of the it's kind of hard, because like with the older games, they kind of like talk about how like Reptile's people were enslaved, so it's kind of hard to think which one is the actual truth. But I'm gonna go with the Mortal Kombat 4 and beyond that, because like that's like the most recent history that will kind of give us a notion of whether their people survived or not. Because as of right now, there's no the only people besides Reptile that survived was still both Chameleons. I kind of feel like that makes the most sense. I feel like the only reason he stayed serving Shao Kahn and Shang was so that one day he could resurrect his people. But now in the new era, Reptile's people are alive, but Syzoth is an outcast among his people. Though they didn't die because Shao is no longer the emperor, they are indeed saved, but he was, I wouldn't say he was banished. He kind of like banished himself, because like they bullied him because of his mutant ability of being able to transform into a human. I don't know. I feel like this new version of Reptile has so much potential, just because like it's tapping on a different point of view for Reptile than we've seen in the past. Like throughout all the Mortal Kombat games, he's always tried to recreate his people because they were gone, but now his people are here, and now he doesn't want anything to do with them, which I thought was kind of crazy because, you know, that's so different from his character, which it's cool though, because now he doesn't have to be like this desperate guy who's trying to find different routes on resurrecting his people. Now like he can just live his own life and just do what he wants to do. I like this iteration, especially considering like just from the trailer alone, it looks like Reptile is gonna be a good guy and not a bad guy. And I really love his personality in the trailer, so I definitely can't wait to see how Reptile's story unfolds in the Mortal Kombat 1 story. So let's start with BIOS to try and see Reptile's motivations, and we'll use a few of the endings to see if it impacted his character or if all the endings were non-canon. We'll kind of use this as a measuring stick to kind of like see where Reptile's personality is by the end of Mortal Kombat. Let's say S, because he wasn't in Mortal Kombat 11. But we'll be using Scorpion as like a measuring stick, just because a lot of Scorpion's endings actually were a part of his overall story arc throughout the games. So in the original Mortal Kombat, Reptile does appear, but he comes in as a secret character. So there is no bios and no endings. But with the success of Mortal Kombat and the success of the secret character, quote unquote, Scorpion, Midway launches the sequel to Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 2. The secret makes the roster, now rebranded as Reptile, and the first new ninja to the series. According to the bio, Reptile is the personal protector for Shang Tsung, using a human disguise to hide his reptilian form, a race thought to be exterminated millions of years ago. And the second bio for Mortal Kombat 2, Reptile discovers Shang's plan to force his people into slavery for Shao Kahn. He starts devising a plan of his own, and we find out what that plan is in his ending. It's pretty generic. He gets his revenge for his people who were conquered through Mortal Kombat. He kills both Shang and Shao Kahn, so his people can live in peace. So this ending is definitely canon. So in Mortal Kombat 2, I don't feel he was a villain, but a slave trying to free his people so that they could live peacefully. In Mortal Kombat 3, he's back to serving Shao Kahn. Now he's partnered with Jade to bring Kitana back to Outworld, since she turned traitor. However, he has a special order from Shao Kahn to bring her back by any means, even if it means her death. Upon killing Princess Kitana, which we would find out in the ending, he finds that he's shunned by the Emperor. He was promised to have his people resurrected if he was successful. He becomes enraged when the Emperor doesn't keep his promise, and he defeats Shao Kahn, destroying any hope of knowing his true race. Reptile really doesn't seem evil to me. Like, he seems like he's neutral. He just wants to resurrect his people. But anyway, so in Mortal Kombat 4, Reptile's new bio changes drastically. Reptile once belonged to a long dead reptilian race. He was banished to the Netherrealm for committing suicide, a genocide against several species, killing millions, and a true ally of the forces of darkness. His ending shows that he started to become like a bit desperate.
Quan Chi, I have served our Lord Shinnok well in the destruction of Earth's warriors.
Yes, we are most appreciative of your efforts.
Now I wish to return in time to my home world before it was destroyed at the hands of Shao Kahn. As the new ruler supreme of all reality, Shinnok alone has the power to grant me this wish.
You dare make such an impetuous request from your lord and master?
It is a simple request for one of such great power.
It is also not worth his attention.
I demand it. If it were not for warriors such as myself, his attack against Raiden's forces would have failed.
Perhaps you can convey your feelings to Shinnok himself.
What?
Infidel! You are in no position to demand anything. I could kill you with a mere thought.
But we had a deal.
A deal? I am not a god of my word, Reptile. All deals are off!
Not caring for who got hurt in order to fulfill his goals of getting back to his people. He's killed by Shinnok for demanding of the fallen elder god to send him back in time to his people before they were exterminated. So the bios are like all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. Reptile constantly switches master, especially like again after Shinnok's defeat. He now serves Shao Kahn once again. He discovers the plot to kill Shao Kahn during the Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance bios, and races to tell the Emperor. However, he is distracted by the vampire Zatara. She led him to a secret base of Katana, knowing the base location would be helpful to his master. He decides to take a detour to find the place. So upon finding the place, he starts to leave and return eagerly to where Shao Kahn's palace was. But by the time he got there, he found that Shao Kahn had already been killed. The detour to the camp had delayed Reptile long enough for the Deadly Alliance to spring their plan of killing Shao Kahn. Devastated that he was not able to protect his master, he wandered aimlessly till he crossed paths with Zatara again, and this time he offered to serve her. She tells him he must attack ATRIOX. By destroying his arm panel, he will be able to weaken him. So, but what I think is funny is that in the ending of Deadly Alliance, at some point, Reptile realizes that Zatara played a part in the destruction of Shao Kahn. Just taking context clues from the ending, he was on her trail, but it was already too late. Zatara had already destroyed the orb that kept her realm in place and sent ATRIOX back to Earthrealm.
After what seemed like an eternity, ATRIOX finally emerged from the lava, holding the orb that had bound Zatara's realm to Outworld for ages. At last, it was within her grasp. She would be able to free her people from Shao Kahn's imprisonment. Fulfilling her end of the bargain, she sent ATRIOX back to his Earthrealm home in exchange for the orb. Zatara stared into the orb. It seethed with the power trapped within. She raised it above her head and then smashed it to the floor. It shattered with an inhuman, soul-rending howl. Its horrible energy exploded away and tore her consciousness from her. Despite the strong sulfurous stench that filled the chamber, Reptile could smell that Zatara and ATRIOX had been there recently. There was no sign of them now, except for some scattered glass shards and a residual trace of strong magical energies. His revenge would have to wait.
His revenge would have to wait, but suddenly the dragon embryo hatched, and a beam of energy shot into Reptile, reforming his body into the Dragon King. This is the first time Reptile's ending has been canon throughout the whole Mortal Kombat series. So the Deadly Alliance version of Reptile kind of seems a bit on the pathetic side. I'm not gonna lie. It's like he forgot what his true objective was, and like recreating his people or going back to where his people were in time. He couldn't live without a master. Honestly, I hate this version of Reptile, if I'm being honest, because like it just made him look super like desperate and like that he couldn't like survive on his own. We'll skip past Deception and Armageddon because there's no real bios for Armageddon for Reptile, and Deception he was possessed by Onaga. But even in Mortal Kombat 9, his Mortal Kombat 9 bio was just a basic retelling of like who he was as a character, like in the Mortal Kombat 2 game. But in this one, at least it looks like he remembers his objective, because in the ending of Mortal Kombat 9, he forces Shang Tsung to bring back his people through sorcery. Glad to see that he's back on track trying to revive his people, although this would be another non-canon ending. And he really doesn't talk much in the Mortal Kombat 9 cutscenes. Like, I was looking through them, and I don't... all the cutscenes, he's just making noise, and like he rarely talks in them. But in MKX, like, this is where they fleshed out his character, I feel like, the most. In MKX, his bio is very similar to MK9, except he now serves Kotal Kahn. He's still is searching for a way to recreate his species, and not really a servant, but now a general among Kotal Kahn's army. I feel like this is the first time that I felt like Reptile was not just a servant or doing someone's bidding, but like an actual like partner to somebody. He's also a key figure in the rebellion of Outworld, basically telling everybody that Melina is just a construct of Shang Tsung's dark magic, and that she's not the true heir to Shao Kahn because she's not his real daughter. I think I like this iteration of Reptile the most in the old timeline, because like he's smart, cunning in the MKS story, and for the first time it felt like he could make his own decisions without having to go to somebody. We didn't see Reptile in Mortal Kombat 11 outside the crypt, but that's non-canon, so there's no even point to even talking about like Reptile's Mortal Kombat 11 appearance. But anyways, finally the last bio, Syzoth, Mortal Kombat 1 bio, didn't really tell us anything new that we didn't already learn from the Banished reveal trailer. His people still live in this in Outworld. His mutation was also touched on during the reveal, so him leaving home because of how bad he was bullied by his own people is so crazy. He went from wanting to recreate the saurians or just bringing them back to just being like, I'm out, and just start looking for a new future. This is going to be great for, I feel like, Reptile's story. It can be really fleshed out, especially because he's a good guy now. Man, the way Reptile is in the little snippet that we got from the reveal is just awesome. The history of Reptile's people being from Earthrealm, it makes so much sense that in this timeline he could be a good guy, because you know his actual home is Earthrealm. Like that's where his people like were originally from. And I just think his personality seems super dope. He has a great personality. He could be funny, serious, and he doesn't let the fact that he's an outcast among his people get him down. I feel like him being able to transform into a human could mean that he may be related to the matriarch of the Zatarian people to some degree, because when the Saurians are away from the matriarch, they start to become more primitive. But I feel like the new era really did Syzoth right. He's amazing, and I can't wait to play with him. But let me know what my fellow Mortal Kombat fans think. Do you prefer the old Reptile or the new one? Me personally, it's the new era without a doubt. Getting a blend of his human and reptilian form is the right move, I believe. And like, I just want to know, do you guys think do you guys like to change to his story of him no longer being the sole survivor of the Zatarian people, but being an outcast? I like the outcast part because there's a lot of untapped potential story that they could expand upon. If you enjoyed this episode of Face Yourself, please give a like to the video and subscribe to the channel. I try to make informative Mortal Kombat videos and just good quality content. Thanks for watching to the end. If you guys made it this far, I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember guys, friendships over fatalities, don't be a jerk, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.